This is Wisdom Anime Recap. This means war. On a wintry night, shrouded in the eerie glow of city lights, a multitude of pedestrians traversed the streets. Their footsteps moved swiftly, their breaths escaped in wisps, creating an illusion of life amidst the frozen air. Unbeknownst to them, a sinister fate awaited. The crowd convulsed, gripped by an unseen force that mercilessly seized their chests. Agonizing cries pierced the night as bodies crumpled to the ground. The drivers, too, their bodies tormented by the onslaught, lost control of their vehicles, aircrafts, and colossal trucks alike, careening recklessly into the towering buildings. A malevolent virus had completed its spread, stealthily invading their every fiber. Yet its wicked power targeted only those aged 13 and above, leaving the youthful untouched. From the horror, a group of ebony-cloaked figures emerged, methodically gathering the unaffected children, claiming to be their only hope for salvation. The children languished for the next 4 years within the castle of Sanguinem, where their blood was routinely drained through unforgiving needles plunged into their carotid arteries. 2 young boys, Yu and Mika, stood within this grim backdrop, their fragile spirits battered by the horrors they witnessed. When the vampires inflicted harm upon one of the children, Mika's instinct was to turn a blind eye, acquiescing to the terror that engulfed him. But Yu chose to intervene, fueled by a burning defiance deep within. And so, Mika, driven to the edge of desperation, turned to the noble Farid Bathory, who reveled in exploiting his vulnerability. He caressed Mika's cheek, inviting him to his opulent mansion that night. Yu's disapproval of Mika's submission manifested as resentment. Yet Mika explained that he sold himself, not out of weakness, but to safeguard provisions for their shattered family, the children who, in their shared despair, had become their only semblance of kinship. Both boys had emerged from the cruel confines of an orphanage, their ties forged by shared sorrows and bound by their common plight. Yu, abandoned by a mother who blamed him for her own demise, had narrowly escaped the clutches of a father driven to murderous intent. Threads of mistrust wound tightly around his being, obscuring his capacity to embrace these forsaken children as his own. Yet Mika extended a hand of solace and understanding and made a solemn vow. These tormented souls would become their new family, forever intertwined in their quest for freedom and survival amidst the darkness. When Mika arrived home that night, Yu finally confronted him, bringing to light his stubborn determination to bear the family's burdens alone. But Mika, overcome by the tears welling up in his eyes, interrupted his words. He expressed a profound admiration for Yu's ability to maintain his unwavering ambitions of freedom, even amidst their hopeless circumstances. He brandished a stolen gun from the hands of the noble Farid Bathory, as well as a map illustrating the path to their escape. With fervor, Mika roused their friend Akane to awaken the other children. Like shadows in the night, the children skillfully traversed the labyrinthine underbelly of the sprawling underground city, evading detection with an eerie grace, drawing ever closer to their long-awaited exit. Yet the noble Farid emerged from the shadows. He mercilessly preyed upon the innocent children one by one until only Yu remained. In a desperate bid for survival, Yu grasped the stolen gun and unleashed a single resounding shot. The noble fell, his malevolence vanquished by the unyielding force of retribution. Yu sought to rescue Mika, but his physical strength faltered. Mika beckoned Yu to flee, unwilling to let his and the other children's sacrifices be in vain. As Yu bolted through the biting snow, a path leading him towards the desolate and decayed city looming in the distance, destiny intervened. Guren Ichinose crossed his path, accompanied by his loyal aides. He recognized Yu as one of the vampire's cursed test subjects, a potential weapon in the arduous battle against their supernatural oppressors. Blinded by a haze of anguish and mourning, Yu cast aside reason and hurled himself into an embrace with Guren, the force of their collision toppling them over. 4 years passed, marking Yu's 16th birthday. He thrust himself into battle against a fearsome beast known as a horseman of the apocalypse, despite his commanding officer's orders to retreat. He'd held on to survivor's guilt since the day he had left his family behind, so his soul blazed with a vengeful fire, fueling his insubordination. As punishment, Yu faced military suspension and was compelled to attend high school, an unparalleled torture. A girl named Shinoa Hiragi introduced herself as a surveillance officer for the army. She slipped him a note, informing him that he needed to prove his ability to cooperate with others by making at least one friend in order to be let back into the army. When class ended, Yu stormed out, but Shinoa trailed behind him. As they reached Yu's locker, their attention deviated to a bullied boy named Yoichi Saotome. Yu readied himself to confront the bullies until Shinoa warned him that harming civilians would only prolong his suspension. Disbelief flashed across his face before a sucker punch struck his jaw, delivered by one of the bullies. Together, they walked home. Conversation blossomed as they acquainted themselves with one another. Yoichi divulged his ambition to join the ranks of the soldiers to avenge his sister, who was slain by a vampire while defending him. He had failed his admission test for the Moon Demon Company, which propelled him toward attempting to befriend the bullies who had tormented him as they had passed their tests, in the hope of utilizing their connections for a chance at redemption. Yu's fury ignited at this revelation, as the Moon Demon Company had rejected him. He cautioned Yoichi against pursuing his dreams of joining the army, as he deemed him too feeble, too vulnerable to the harsh realities that awaited him within the ranks. The weight of Yu's words bore heavily upon Yoichi, his fragile spirit shattering as tears streamed down his face. At that moment, a tremendous explosion rent the air, shattering the silence with a thunderous roar. The blast emanated from a nearby building, casting dark plumes of smoke into the sky. Sirens pierced the chaos, their wailing cries echoing through the streets, mingling with the panicked symphony of the crowd. A voice boomed over the PA system, cutting through the disarray. A vampire had managed to escape a research facility. Shinoa ordered her comrades to run and seek refuge, while she contacted the Moon Demon Company. Characteristically, Yu defied her, consumed by a desire to prove himself. He stormed towards his locker, grasping his katana and the gun he used to shoot the noble Farid Bathory before entering the dimly lit classroom. The escaped vampire, an emaciated-looking creature, loomed over an unconscious student, preparing to sink her teeth. A battle ensued, a clash of wills and strength, but the vampire proved herself a nimble adversary, eluding Yu's strikes and effortlessly regenerating even severed limbs. In an ironic twist, one of the bullies who had tormented Yoichi happened to be present. Yu commanded him to rescue the imperiled girl, reminding him of his duty as a prospective candidate for the Moon Demon Company. Yet the bully confessed to having lied about this. Undeterred, Yu plunged back into the fight. With a swift motion, the vampire seized him by the throat and leapt out of a window, hurtling towards the ground below. They collided with a bone-jarring impact, the vampire poised to suck Yu. Wait! Yet her victory was but a fleeting illusion. Gurren materialized behind her, just in time to pierce her heart with his cursed blade, reducing her to embers and ash. In the aftermath of the battle, Yoichi stumbled into the scene, causing Yu to fall to the ground, his head colliding with the pavement. Shinoa pointed out that Yu had finally forged a friendship, which meant Gurren would have to honor his pledge. Yu's subconscious unveiled a poignant dream, a spectral vision of his departed family, receding into the distance. It served as a reminder that the time had come for him to move forward, now that he'd found new kinship. In his anguish, Yu cried out to them, but his plea was interrupted when he was jolted awake, his senses aflame with the sterile scent of the hospital room. There, he beheld the welcome sight of Yoichi, radiating joy at his awakening. Shinoa revealed that both Yu and Yoichi had been granted admission into the revered Moon Demon Company. In a clandestine location, the bullies ventured to breach the threshold of a room adorned with arcane spell tags, yet they faltered, hesitating in their audacious endeavor. As they turned to leave, the door creaked open, as if drawn by an unseen force. Perched upon the rooftop of his school, amidst the ethereal sky, the young lady whom Yu had valiantly rescued from the vampire approached him, tenderly proffering a letter, her rosy cheeks suffused with an endearing blush. After observing their exchange, Shinoa teased him. She expounded upon a grave truth, one that demanded the reproduction of humanity in order to endure their newly inhospitable environment. Yu questioned the purpose of his continued confinement within the school, given his recent acceptance into the ranks of the Moon Demon Company. In response, Shinoa explained that his training had commenced within the school, unbeknownst to him. She unveiled her cursed gear, an imposing scythe, which manifested alongside her contracted demon, Shikama Doji. Overwhelmed by the grandeur of this sight, Yu instinctively drew his own blade, issuing a threat of theft of her weapon. Shinoa toyed with him before swiftly exposing his naivety, unleashing the indomitable might imbued within her scythe, eclipsing his own abilities entirely. She explained they would face enemies beyond his comprehension, which explained the necessity of such powerful weaponry. Later, the bullies approached them once more, now imploring Yoichi to accept their subservience. They believed he was capable of rescuing their friend, Yuji, as Yoichi was now a member of the Moon Demon Company. Yuji had ventured into the forbidden chamber of the school and vanished without a trace. Shinoa voiced the consequences of their unauthorized trespass into a Class 1 restricted area, an act that could potentially warrant execution. She urged them to abandon their pursuit, suggesting that living with the shame of leaving their friend at the mercy of oblivion could be a kinder fate. Nonetheless, Shinoa decided to help. She descended into the shadowed depths of the school basement, accompanied by Yu and Yoichi. In hushed tones, she divulged a dreadful secret. This was no ordinary high school. Instead, it served as an arcane confinement for one of the military's captive demons, an entity whose sole purpose was to exude its malevolent essence upon the premises. Shocking no one, Yu charged forward without a moment's reflection through the basement threshold. The bully, now possessed by the demon, brandished a colossal axe. Yu snatched the accursed weapon from him, triggering an extraordinary occurrence. In an instant, he was transported to his unconscious, back to Sanguinem, to Mika, Akane, and the rest of his cherished family. Overwhelmed, Yu voiced his recollection of their demise, only to be met with a chilling revelation. Mika and the others affirmed their own death, beseeching him to seek vengeance on their behalf. Yu finally caught on. He recognized that such a request would never escape from Mika's lips. With righteous indignation, he demanded the demon reveal its true form and relinquish the facade of his beloved kin. In an instant, the illusion that enshrouded him crumbled into fragments, dissipating into thin air as he emerged from his ethereal slumber. Once again, his vision was filled with the visages of Shinoa and Yoichi, their expressions drenched in astonishment at Yu's formidable willpower. Shinoa voiced her intention to convey this extraordinary feat to Gurren, deeming him worthy of the next stage in his training. Back within Sanguinem, the noble Farid emerged from the shadows, evidently having escaped the clutches of death. He strode down the corridor where Yu's family had met their demise, where a cloaked figure draped in vampire soldier garb awaited him. The noble divulged Yu's newfound allegiance to the Japanese Imperial Demon Army. Yet when he got too close, the cloaked figure unsheathed his blade, its gleaming steel aimed directly at the noble's neck, revealing himself to be none other than Mika, now transformed into a creature of the night.